It's been a long time coming, but the 4th generation Audi S3 Pocket Rocket has finally arrived in Australia. Has it been worth the wait? Let's find out. The S3 has been around in Australia since 1999 and has always stuck to being turbo-petrol 4-cylinder and all-wheel drive. Pricing is up significantly for the new S3, but it's still competitive with key oppositions such as the BMW 1 and 2 Series M135i xDrive and the Mercedes AMG A35. Then there's the S3's traditional non-identical twin, the Volkswagen Golf R, which is slightly cheaper, more powerful and has a drift mode built into its all-wheel drive system. As always, the S3 is based on the mainstream A3. The latest generation of that car is also lobbing into Australia around now. You can get your S3 as a 4-door sedan or as the Sportback 5-door hatch we're driving here. Styling signatures include the Matrix LED headlights, 19-inch alloys and quad exhausts. The S3 also sits 15mm closer to the road on its sport suspension than the A3. There's some big news under the bonnet where the new S3's 2-litre turbo-petrol engine gets a power and torque boost. Previously in Australia we'd had a detuned version of this engine because we were classified as a hot climate country. Now Audi's reclassified us as mild hot. I wonder what they make of that in Alice Springs. The uprated engine drives all 4 wheels via a 7-speed dual-clutch transmission and on-demand quattro all-wheel drive. Audi claims you can rip from 0 to 100 km an hour in an unchanged 4.8 seconds. Considering that performance level, claimed fuel consumption is pretty impressive. Audi has worked so long and hard to set new standards for interiors. It's a bit of a surprise to sit in the S3 and realise it doesn't blow you away. There's nothing wrong with it, it's just not gobsmacking. Instead, it's a competently shaped and fitted prestige small car interior. There's a combination of soft and hard surfaces but with little variation in the dark ambience. There are big door bins, a small centre-littered bin, a decently sized glove box, a couple of cup holders and a couple of places to store your smartphone. But there's nothing here that's innovative. There's a larger new 10-inch touchscreen in the centre screen display, which Audi says has 10 times the computing power of the old car. In the instrument panel, it's now a 12.3-inch digital display that includes a specific S-Performance design theme. A 15-speaker Bang & Olufsen sound system is undoubtedly the highlight of the infotainment system. There's also wireless Apple CarPlay and wired Android Auto. But be aware, wireless smartphone charging is currently unavailable because of the microchip shortage. This is the first S3 to get Audi's full virtual cockpit, which means you can have the sat-nav in the instrument panel right in front of you, which is pretty cool. The touchscreen is much larger than before and it's angled towards the driver. But it's not a standout in these days of huge portrait-type screens. As you'd expect, the S3 comes fitted with most modern driver assist systems. The AEB comes with pedestrian and cyclist detection. Traffic sign recognition does not make it into the S3 or any other Audi in Australia for that matter. As far as rear seat room for adults goes, the S3 does a pretty decent job. The backrest of the front seats are sculpted to help fit your knees in. There's plenty of headroom and Audi says there's also more elbow room. If the front seat area doesn't overwhelm when it comes to features, the rear seat definitely underwhelms. No USB points, no adjustment of the aircon vents and a single power outlet. So in the boot of the S3, there's reasonable space, about normal for a small hatchback. No spare tyre under the floor, which helps your storage space at least. But the good news is, split fold the rear seat and your space basically triples. So that's the S3 so far. Features and presentation wise, you've got to say it's ticking the boxes. But with a car like this, really, it's all about the driving. So let's go and do that now and see what we find out. Audi says you sit lower in the new S3, but it doesn't feel that different. What does feel great though is the sports seat, really supportive. The S3 specs suggest its engine is a firecracker, but it's steadier and more linear than that. Once you get it on boost from about 2000 RPM, it really is very supportive and enthusiastic, but without ever feeling intimidating. Audi's traded out MRC magnetic dampers for hydraulic adaptive dampers in the new S3. They're in search of a wider tuning range, and the car does feel more versatile as a result. Keep the S3 in comfort mode and it's more than livable on rough roads, although there is some banging and bashing back through the 19-inch low-profile rubber and independent suspension. In addition to the ride inputs, there's some exhaust crackle, some engine snarl, and a bit of road tyre thrum. Look, it's not at all objectionable, and it actually goes in character with the car. But if refinement is your ultimate arbiter of choice, then you're better off in an A3 than an S3. In return for its enthusiastic performance, the S3 does keep its thirst for 95 RON fuel under control. A mid 9 litre average was fine for the spirited driving this car encourages. The cool thing about driving the S3 is its easy speed. It wants to work with you, not against you. It's fun without being ferocious. The Audi S3 comes with a 5-year unlimited kilometre warranty, service intervals are every 12 months or 15,000 kilometres. A 5-year prepaid service plan will set you back $2,580. The new Audi S3 is a nice car with an enthusiastic attitude that will please those that buy it, but the same could have been said about the car it replaces. In other words, it just doesn't feel like there's been that much progress made swapping into the new generation, even though the pricing has gone up a significant amount. But put all the facts and figures and logic to one side and the question remains, has the new S3 been worth the wait? And that answer is absolutely. This is such a user-friendly little pocket rocket, and it's definitely best experienced from the driver's seat.